guest today is Scott Hammond. Scott and his marvelous wife, Joni, are the parents of 5 beautiful children. Scott is a magnificent dad. He is the author of a book called Everyday Dad, and he goes into many unique things that he has experienced. 2 of his children are special needs children. Scott has been involved in many things in his community. Among them is his work with other parents and organizations who have and work with special needs kids. Scott has a varied background, not only in family, but in his professional and business skills. As an ad media manager, Scott has over 30 years of professional sales, marketing, speaking, and business experience. Scott has worked on radio, newspapers, and cable television. Scott is an award-winning Toastmaster, a delightful author. Scott uses a comfortable, personal speaking style to motivate people and inspire them, to help them make the positive changes in their life that they need, want, and desire. It's my pleasure today to introduce to you one of Toastmaster's award-winning speakers, a great guy, Scott Hammond. Come on up, Scott.
Thank you.
It's great to have you today.
Thank you very much. There we were at a sales meeting, and my dad was coming to town. He would come to town periodically and come to work with me and sit in at our sales meeting. And this time he was going to actually speak to us and tell us something about business. And man, was I excited. We had our yellow pads and pencils, and we were ready to go. And my dad sat at the chair, and I'll never forget this. He sat down and he said, "Guys, if you're in business for the money, you're only half paid." I stopped and I looked at him and I wondered where were the other 59 minutes. I was really excited because we were still ready to write. And he said, "I'm done. I'm sorry, it's over." And I said, "What?" And I was kind of annoyed because, what do you mean by that? And what he meant was this, and it's taken me 20 years to decipher. If you're in this for the money, you're only about half paid. What could he have meant? I think what he meant was this, that there's a human side of business that's really important. And if you are in this only for the almighty dollar or to make a buck only, you're missing a great portion of what it's like and what it's about to be in business and to do business with people. I'm Scott Hammond. I'm the Everyday Dad. The Guide to Becoming a Better Father is my book. And I want to talk today about the 3 secrets of leaving an awesome business legacy. My dad taught us a lot about business, and my friend Ron told me later, he goes, "You know, your dad actually, you were his student in business. He taught you everything you knew." And I finally connected to that, and now I'm okay with that. So let's talk about a couple things that we'll talk about. Number 1 is, do they know you, like you, trust you, and will they buy you? Another thing I want to talk about is networking. What is it like to create and be part of an awesome network in your community? Number 3 is, let's talk about 10.5 things that my dad taught me about business. Ooh, those are some secrets. You're going to love those. And lastly, we'll talk about a business legacy. What does it mean to leave an awesome business legacy? When people remember you, what will they remember you for? So we'll get to that. It'll be awesome. So number 1, do they know you, like you, trust you, and will they buy from you? Do they know you? Number 1, who is the real you? Can they connect to the real you? Are you the authentic real you? Can you be genuine? Or are you somebody else? You see, Judy Garland said it this way: better a first-rate version of you than a second-rate version of someone else. And the key there is, can you be authentic? Can you connect with the real you? The dorky, corny, funny, quirky, human you. Because there's only one of you. And people will really connect to that. I like a speaker who's really authentic. When I see somebody speak at Toastmasters, and I know they're legit, real, them being themselves, I always like that speaker. They may not be real polished, but if I know they're the real McCoy, I'm connecting to that person. So do they know you? In business, can you be known? Yes. Number two, do they like you? Well, let me set a premise. If you serve people and help them get what they want, Zig Ziglar said they'll help you get what you want. Good premise. Service sets the stage for likability. Now, I'm a 51-year-old guy. I'm just a little kid in a grown-up's body. So when I go to Starbucks and they make my drink and they draw a picture on it, and here it is, the 007 with coconut, and it's special, and it's you, I feel really special, and I feel served. So I like the people at Starbucks. Just me being, a consumer. But they set the stage for likability because they serve me. So my question is for you. What are you doing today to serve the people in your audiences, the people that you care about, whether it's family or business or church or school? What are you doing to serve people? Is it all about you? No. The world does not revolve around us. It happens to revolve around 4 billion other people. So serve people. Do they know you? The real you? Do they like you? Are you serving them? Number three, do they trust you? Do they trust you? Do you do the things that you'll say you'll do? Do what you say. Say what you do and then do what you say. It's an easy axiom. One question in that is, are you punctual? Are you on time? Are you always late? Now, this is going to be hard for you to hear this, but you'll love this. In Boy Scouts this summer, I learned, my sons are in scouting, to be early is on time, to be on time is to be late, and to be late is unacceptable. Whoa, that's kind of a hard pill to swallow for a guy with 9 kids who's always late from California, say no more. So are you punctual? Do people trust you? It takes time. It takes baby steps. But with time, if people see that you're legit and you do what you say, they will trust you. So do they know you? Do they like you? Do they trust you? Now will they buy from you? The answer is, of course. They may not need what you have today, but when the time comes to buy a car, to buy real estate, to buy your service, they might shop you. They might go online and check it out and go, hey, you know what, this is the price. But if they know you, like you, trust you, they will buy from you every time. And they may give you a little harassment, they may grind you a little bit, but that's okay. You're the person, you're the go-to person, because you serve them, and they like you, and it sets the stage. So do they know you, like you, trust you? Yes, they will buy from you. Okay, now how do you encompass that into a network? Well, people often ask me, Scott, how do you know everybody? And how do you get involved? And the answer is, I don't. The joke is I don't know everybody. I know every other buddy. Kind of vaguely funny. And the short answer is, I know people because I'm relational. I have relationships with people. I get out and I shake hands and I get to know people. You could do this too. It's not hard. Show up, get involved, be personal and personable, and be relational. Get to know folks. They don't bite. You can shake their hands and say hi and see a little bit, learn a little bit about them. So some things to consider as you build your network and get involved in groups and clubs and associations and networks. Number one is, does the group fit your time and your mission and what you're about? So if it's the Cancer Society, the Relay for Life, is it Rotary, is it Toastmasters? What is the group about? And is it a fit for you? Number two, what are you bringing to the group? Not necessarily what they're bringing to you. That's important. That'll happen. But what are you bringing to that group? In terms of your time, your gifts, your experiences, your know-how. And lastly, can you support the vision and the mission of the group? And the answer is hopefully yes, and there's a fit. So let me give you a couple suggestions. Local chambers of commerce. Wherever you live, there's probably a chamber of commerce. You can go to their mixers. Hey, high five, glad hand people, shake hands, give them a business card, get their business card, learn about them as opposed to just talking about you. It's kind of cool. We have one of these and two of these, so we can listen and learn about other people, and that's awesome. Number two, Business Networking International has chapters all over the world, and they're very blatantly about referrals. And you go to their meetings, and they're free to visit, and you can join. They're great. Another one is service clubs. Are you part of a Rotary? Are you part of Seroptimist? Are you part of Kiwanis? There's a ton of them, and they're service organizations, and they're awesome. And they're like-minded people who band together and pool their expertise, knowledge, resources for the greater good, and they go out and help people. How about a mastermind group? Some communities have a mastermind, and this is business people that gather together with this explicit purpose to coach and help one another. Henry Ford, a lot of the champions of industry, these guys were all part of masterminds, and they actually grew their businesses and their industries by virtue of 1 + 1 = 3. A little bit of high math there, but you got it. And lastly, associations, clubs, Moose, Elks. How about Toastmasters? Hey, there's a great one. Started by a guy named Smedley in the 40s in Santa Monica with a bunch of ne'er-do-well guys who were fighting together. He brought them together at the YMCA and taught them how to speak. He taught them how to think. He taught them how to share their ideas. He taught them how to persuade. And he taught them how to be awesome communicators. So if you want to network and be relational, get involved with one of these groups today, and they'll be glad for it, and you'll be glad for it. The key is where and when and how to choose the group that's right for you. And they're out there, so go visit, go seek it out, go make the connection. They will be happy that you're visiting. They will be so ecstatic that you showed up. So do they know you, like you, trust you? Are you willing to go and be part of a network? And now here's some tips. 10.5 things that my dad, Bob Hammond, taught me about people skills. Number 1, be kind to everybody. Well, that would be an easy one. Not that easy. Remember, kindness costs you nothing. Little kids in adult bodies remember acts of kindness. Conversely, they also remember little acts of cruelty. So when you're unkind to the clerk or the receptionist or somebody, or you're snapping on the phone at somebody, remember that we all remember acts of kindness and acts of unkindness. Number 2, have a firm handshake. No one likes to limp fish. Everybody hates the fish. Reach out, don't break anybody's arm, and squeeze with affection, looking them in the eye and saying, I'm very pleased to meet you, Rebecca. It's great to be here with you today, and it's awesome. Number 3, tell great stories. Be a storyteller. Don't be boring. Have good stories that make sense and that are appropriate, but be able to tell a great story. People love to hear stories. We live in stories. We draw lessons from great stories well told. Number 4, be a good listener. Have the ability to listen up and listen to people, and to be attentive and be ready at any point to feed back to them what they've told you. Number 5, be an above average speaker. You don't have to be polished, you don't have to be crazy good. You just need to be able to have a way with words and a way to present yourself. That's you, that's authentic, that's legit. Number 6, have a sense of humor. I'm actually a really funny guy. I don't know if anybody knows that, but I'm hilarious. I'm a riot. And when appropriate, of course, humor needs to be appropriate like anything else. Humor has a place. If this is all grim death and life is a bummer and we're stern and sober and all uptight and, rigid, you take all the joy out of it. Let's have some fun. Number 7, develop lifelong relationships. Remember, it's about being relational. It's about having friendships. It's about leaving a legacy and about being that person who's relatable. Number 8, encourage freely. Give a kind word. It costs nothing to be kind to people. Remember, that receptionist, that front desk person could be the VP of marketing next week. Were you kind to them? Did they like you? Did they know you, trust you, like you, buy you? Kindness costs nothing. Make sure you're kind and encouraging. Number 9, be a giver. Be free with your gifts. You don't own them anyway. You're just a steward and somebody that was given some gifts. Be free to give those away. Number 10, be spectacular on the phone. Everybody's got a phone. Be good on the phone. It's your networking device. Smartphones, my wife accused me yesterday, hey, you're on that phone all the time. Okay, I can back that off. But be good on the phone. Give good text messages, good emails. Use your iPhone, your smartphone, and make that happen. And lastly, number 10.5, be you. Just be you. Remember Judy Garland's quote. And lastly, leave an awesome business legacy. Now, what does that mean to leave a legacy? Well, let's define a legacy. Webster says, and I quote, a legacy is anything left behind. Now, Lincoln left a legacy. Washington, Hitler, Elvis left an interesting legacy. The Beatles. People leave a legacy. So the question is, then what is your legacy? Well, what are they going to say when you're gone? When it comes time for your memorial, and that day will come, what would you want them to say? What will your best friends stand up at the lectern, and what will they say about your life and who you were and how you interacted with people? Well, you can't control it then, but you can control it now by your actions. So, number 1, how to identify your legacy. What are you leaving behind? I asked my wife that question. I said, Joni, what about me? Do I play guitar good? Am I an awesome speaker? She goes, no, none of that. And I said, really? She goes, yeah. She goes, you're really good with 20-somethings and young adults. They like you, like they liked your dad. And I said, really? I don't even like those guys. I'm kidding. I said, really? That's interesting because I didn't even account for that. So for you, ask a safe person who knows you well and find out what they see in your life. What are your gifts? What are you good at? Maybe you're awesome at just being a listener and somebody that gives good advice and good counsel. Maybe you're a great tennis player. Maybe you play music, or you sculpt or do art or write great poetry, or you're a great blogger. I don't know. Go find out. Go ask people that know. And find out what you're passionate about. If you're passionate about it, likely you have a legacy there. So number 1, identify your legacy. Number 2, who's your audience? Who hears you? Who picks up when you throw down? I don't know. Joni tells me that it's young adults like me. Okay, well, we'll go with that. I like that. Who resonates with you? Is it your kids, your peers, your fellow whatevers? Could be. Could be some people you don't even know, you've never met. I'm on Facebook. I got 5,000 Facebook friends. My wife Joni tells me and ribs me and goes, you don't even know any of them. And I said, I know about 5%. So quit bugging me. So there's some people on Facebook that resonate with me for some reason. Who knew? So who listens to you? Who's your demographic? Who's in your same psychographic? Who enjoys painting like you do, or fishing, or driving sports? Whoever it is, they're part of your world, and they're listening to you. So what circles do you roll in? Find out, because they could be part of your legacy circle. And lastly, what's your legacy platform? In other words, what is it all about for you? Is it speaking? Is it music? Is it family? Is it you're creating an awesome world in a piece of corporation that provides jobs for dozens of people? It could be a lot of different things. Maybe you're just an awesome step-parent or grandma, grandpa, and that's all great. Maybe you play on a team. So it could be thousands of things. Those are all platforms for your awesome legacy. So how are you going to leave that legacy today? With integrity, with heart, with kindness. Like my dad said in that story, if you're in this for the money, You're only about half paid. So let's review. He came into the meeting and he made this statement that's about the humanity of business, that there's people involved and we should tread carefully. Do they know you, like you, trust you, and then they'll buy from you? Are you good at networking? Do you have networks? Are you building networks? They could be online, they could be in teams, they could be in associations. Are you out there? Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite guys, said you got to circulate to percolate. Well said, Zig. I don't know what that means, but it sounds really good. It means this: you got to go out and be with people and be relational, so they can know you, like you, trust you, buy you. And number 3, the 10.5 things: have a firm handshake, know how to speak, tell a great story, be that person who's kind, who's encouraging, who shares their gifts. And lastly, if you do all these things, you'll leave an awesome and profound life and business legacy. I'll end with a story about my dad, Bob. He came into a sales situation. He was an insurance salesman on Camp Pendleton Marine Corps base. And he sat across from a young guy and he said, you know, PFC Smith, when you die and your wife here has no insurance, that's going to be a sad day for your family. And anybody that ever heard that story goes, oh no, he's lost his mind. He's lost the sale. And maybe he's going to get punched by the Marine as he lays his pen out and says, go ahead and sign that now. And every time that young Marine would pick up that pen and he'd sign that thing. You want to know why? They knew him, they liked him, they trusted him, and they bought from him because he cared for them. And he made a human connection. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Let me say it again. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you really care. So be that person that goes out and networks and cares about people. You'll change the world and you'll leave an awesome business legacy. I'm Scott Hammond, wishing you a positive day every day.
Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you.
Pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you very much.
Very glad that you decided to spend your life here in Humboldt County.
Me too.
I caught Scott on camera expounding about the wonderful things he loves to expound about. So I'm going to put them on the end of this interview just so you can enjoy them. And they will just gradually come to an end as our time runs out. But I think you'll love it.
My dad, Bob, had a saying that was really important. He came to our sales meeting and he sat with us because he loved to come to work with me, and he would hang out. And I said, Dad, you're on. And he said these words: if you're in business for money, you're only half paid. What? What does that mean? And he repeated it. He said, if you're in business for just the money, you're about half paid. It's taken me 20 years to connect with that. And what he was saying to me and to all of us was that business is more than just being transactional with people. It's more than just being selling commodities or making money off of people. Business is about relationships. It's about people. It's about a big picture. It's about caring for others, because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So I'll just start with secret number 1: know you, like you, trust you, buy you. Do people know you? In other words, the real you. Can you come out and be authentic with people and be the real McCoy and the real deal? Or are you some manufactured version of somebody else? In other words, Judy Garland probably said it the best. Be a first-rate version of you rather than a second-rate version of someone else. Think about that for a minute. Be you, dare to be you, to be authentic, to be real, to be legit, to be transparent, and to be yourself. So, do people know you? Do you even know you? There's a question. That's a tough one. What are you all about? What is it for you? and who are you? And thereby, can you project that and be that person? Can you roll in your life as who you are? So number one, know you. Number two, like you. Do people like you? Well, I hope so. Let's talk about that. Service sets the stage for likability. In other words, if you're serving people and you're helping them and you're doing things for them, they will tend to like you. Example, Starbucks, they make my drink. Hey, look, I got a drink. It wasn't exactly a Starbucks, but it's a drink. I go into Starbucks, they know my drink, they make it for me. Hey, Scott, how's it going? How's your day? Wow, they really care. They used my name, they served me, and as much as that's a customer service experience, it sets the stage for likability, because I actually like a lot of those barista people. They're some great people. So know you, like you. Do they trust you? Can I trust you? Do you do the things that you say? Are you on time? Do you do what you say and say what you do? Do you fulfill promises? Do you come through when you say you'll do something? Do you hit deadlines? Do you do a 24-hour callback? When I call you on the phone, do you do a callback right away, or do you wait for 5 days or never? So the question is, are you able to make that phone call and call people back? That's a credibility issue, and it's a trust building thing, and trust is all about baby steps. So know you? Do we know you? Okay. Do we like you? Okay, we like you. Do we trust you? Yes, you've earned our trust. Now, will I buy you? And the answer is, probably will buy you. I may shop. I may look around. I may go online. I may type and figure out some sort of comparative. But ultimately, if customers know you, like you, trust you, they're going to buy from you. So set the stage for likability by doing that. Secret number two. So secret number one is know you, like you, trust you. Number two is networking. Some key points. There are places that you can plug into in your community to become a gnarly networker. And what do I mean by that? You can make relationships happen in a shorter amount of time by hanging out with people where people are. You can consider your community involvement. Are you a fit to that community group? Are you relational? Do you show up? Remember Woody Allen said 90% of life is just showing up. So do you make people a priority? Do you hang out with people? Are you networked in groups? So here's some examples. Your local chamber. Awesome. Really good idea to hang out with the chamber folks. They're great. Go to mixers, get involved, go to the dinner, go to the thing, go to the grand opening, become an ambassador. Lots of cool ways. Even in our small community, there's like 4 chambers. You could totally find a chamber where you live.